Nobody goes to the Old Mill District to shop for spices, but if you take one step inside this store, you might.
A lot of times people think we're going to be more expensive because we're in the Old Mill District or we're a specialty shop, but the fact is we end up being less expensive most of the time, and the quality is better.
For Matthew Perry, it was love at first sight when he walked into the store in Colorado. The result, he went out and just bought one.
We could all of a sudden smell our spice cabinet, and I realized at that point that the spices that we had in there were probably a little old, and I think that one of the main questions we get in here is how long do spices last? And ground spices you really want to keep for about a year, so you only want to keep about the amount that you would use in that time period.
There's two things surprising about this shop. One, you can taste test, and you can buy in bulk.
Right when they're ground is really when they're fresh, the most fresh, and you get the most flavor out of them. So if you're using old spices, none of those flavors that you're adding are going to come out in what you're cooking. And if you're using a recipe, then that recipe is probably based on having those flavors come out. So you might not be getting the full experience that you would be.
If foodie terms like a pinch or a dash just completely throw you off, you can take in-shop classes and learn a little bit more about spices.
I mean, I could have chicken 5 days a week and it would be totally different every day because we have plenty of blends that are paleo friendly and autoimmune friendly and things like that that you can spice up your life with.
Abby Purdy is a teacher here. Everything from kids classes to what to eat if you're on a paleo diet.
Almost every day there's somebody that comes in and says, I can't do onions, or I can't do garlic, or I can't do capsaicins, or I'm gluten-free. What can I do? And oftentimes they're just amazed by all the options they have here and all the opportunity too. They see that they can make satisfying meals and they can make things taste good with having these restrictions.
If you're like me, you probably have a cabinet full of half-used spices.
Even I, after we opened the store, held on to 3 or 4 bottles that I just couldn't let go of, until I finally brought them in and I did a smell comparison to what we had in the store to those, and I immediately threw them away. But there's something about them, those bottles. We spend a lot of money on them to buy a whole bottle of spices, and so it's hard for us to let them go.